Essay number 77, Why do we value our suffering so much? You're addicted to your own pain, and you don't even know it. Think about the last time you had a genuinely good day. Everything was going right. You felt peaceful, maybe even happy. And then what happened? Out of nowhere, your brain started searching for something to worry about, something to obsess over, something to ruin it. You found it, didn't you? You always do. Maybe it was that text someone didn't respond to fast enough. Maybe it was that look your coworker gave you last week. Maybe it was some disaster scenario you invented about your future. But you found something and you let it consume you. Here's the question nobody wants to answer. Why do we do this to ourselves? Why do we actively seek out suffering when life is already hard enough? Why do we create problems where there are none? Why do we value our pain like it's some kind of twisted currency? Let me tell you something that's going to piss you off. Suffering is not inevitable. It's not some necessary evil you have to endure. It's not the price of being human. Suffering is a choice, and you're choosing it every single day. Now, before you close this video, before you write me off as another toxic positivity guru, hear me out. I'm not saying pain doesn't exist. I'm not saying bad things don't happen. I'm saying there's a difference between pain and suffering, and you're manufacturing most of your suffering yourself. Pain is when something happens to you. Suffering is what you do with that pain. Pain is the breakup. Suffering is replaying it for 6 months. Pain is the rejection. Suffering is letting it define your worth forever. Pain is the trauma. Suffering is becoming the trauma. But here's where it gets really dark. We don't just create our suffering. We worship it. We wear it like a badge of honor. We compete over who's been through worse. We bond over our trauma. We define ourselves by our damage. Why? Because somewhere along the way we started believing we deserve it. Think about how this works. Something bad happens to you when you're young. Maybe someone betrays you. Maybe you fail at something important. Maybe you're rejected or abandoned or hurt. And instead of processing that pain, instead of feeling it and letting it pass through you, you repress it. But repressed emotions don't disappear. They become the foundation of your beliefs about yourself. They become the lens through which you see everything. Someone doesn't text you back, it's because you're unlovable, just like that first person who left showed you. You don't get the job, it's because you're worthless, just like that teacher said you were. Someone's in a bad mood around you, it's your fault, just like everything was your fault in that house you grew up in. You're not experiencing the present moment. You're experiencing every unhealed wound being triggered at once. You're projecting what was onto what is. And here's the really sick part. We become addicted to confirming these beliefs about ourselves. We actively seek out situations and people that will hurt us in familiar ways. We create drama where there is none. We sabotage good things before they can challenge our narrative of deserving pain. When there's nothing wrong, we fill the void with something. Because suffering is familiar. Suffering is safe. Suffering is what we know. But suffering is also how we stay stuck. We live trapped in mental structures that external circumstances built, but that we maintain. Someone hurt you once, and you've been hurting yourself ever since. Someone told you weren't good enough, and you've been proving them right every day. As soon as something happens that even vaguely reminds us of an old wound, we don't stop to see it objectively. We don't ask if this is actually the same situation. We just react. We lash out. We shut down. We run the same program we've been running for years. Our pain becomes our internal dialogue, those compulsive, involuntary thoughts that torture us. That's old pain wearing a new costume. Every time we let those thoughts run unchecked, we allow those old emotions to infiltrate our present awareness. We let the past contaminate the now. But here's what you need to understand. There's a difference between what's happening and what you think is happening. There's the objective event, and then there's your subjective interpretation of it, filtered through every unhealed wound you're carrying. The key is disidentification, recognizing that what you're experiencing isn't about what's actually happening. It's about what you believe you deserve, and right now you believe you deserve to suffer. You've probably heard that the opposite of pain is joy. That's wrong. The opposite of pain is acceptance. When you resist pain, you create suffering. When you fight against what is, you strengthen it. It's like quicksand. The more you struggle, the deeper you sink. Resistance doesn't dismantle the structure of your suffering. It reinforces it. Every time you fight against pain, you're actually giving it more power. You're feeding it with your energy. You're keeping it alive. We find it almost impossible to believe we deserve happiness. It's easier to believe we deserve pain. Pain confirms what we already believe about ourselves. Happiness challenges it. Pain is familiar. Happiness is terrifying. So we go out of our way to attract and inflict pain. We pick fights with people who love us. We procrastinate on things that matter. We make choices we know will hurt us. We create the exact suffering we claim we want to escape. This dichotomy, this push and pull between wanting happiness and creating suffering, it's human, it's natural, but it's not mandatory. You can transcend it, but not if you keep telling yourself it's impossible. Not if you keep valuing your suffering as something that makes you more human, more deep, more real. Because here's the truth. What makes us human isn't what destroys us. It's what we build ourselves into after the destruction. It's not the breaking, it's the becoming. Marcus Aurelius said it perfectly. Choose not to be harmed, and you won't feel harmed. Don't feel harmed, and you haven't been. Read that again. Choose not to be harmed, not pretend you weren't harmed, not ignore the harm. Choose not to be harmed. This isn't about denying reality. It's about recognizing that you have a choice in how you interpret and respond to reality. Something can happen to you without destroying you. Someone can hurt you without defining you. You can experience pain without becoming it. But first, you have to stop valuing your suffering. You have to stop wearing it like armor. You have to stop using it as an excuse for why you can't be happy, why you can't succeed, why you can't love or be loved. Your suffering isn't protecting you, it's imprisoning you. It's not making you deep, it's keeping you stuck. It's not proving you've been through something, it's proving you never left. The most radical thing you can do is refuse to suffer unnecessarily. To feel your pain when it arrives, process it and let it go. To stop picking at old wounds. To stop creating new ones. To stop believing that suffering is the price of being alive. Because suffering isn't the price. Suffering is the refusal to pay the actual price, which is feeling your feelings, healing your wounds, and moving forward. You're not addicted to suffering because you're broken. You're addicted to suffering because it's easier than healing. It's easier than changing. It's easier than admitting that you have more control than you want to believe. But easy isn't working, is it? Easy is killing you slowly. Easy is wasting your life in a prison you built yourself. So here's my challenge to you. The next time you catch yourself creating suffering, and you will, probably within the next hour, stop. Ask yourself, is this actually happening, or am I projecting old pain onto a new situation? Am I responding to what is or to what was? Then ask yourself the hardest question of all. What would happen if I chose not to be harmed by this? Not if you pretended. Not if you ignored it. What if you genuinely chose to not let it harm you? What if you decided that this thing, whatever it is, doesn't get to destroy your peace? What if you valued your peace more than your pain? What if you decided right now that you've suffered enough? What if you realized that suffering isn't noble or necessary or meaningful? What if you understood that the only meaning suffering has is the meaning you give it? And what if you decided to stop giving it any meaning at all? Your suffering doesn't make you special. It doesn't make you deep. It doesn't make you worthy of love or success or happiness. You're already worthy. You always were. The suffering was just a story you told yourself because you didn't know you were allowed to tell a different one. But you always were. The question is, are you ready to stop valuing your suffering and start valuing your life? Because you can't do both. Choose wisely. Choose now. Choose differently.